project create. Hopefully everybody's gonna join. Hey Chris Pinsis. Yeah, it's working. I don't know why there's no go live button on the app. I think it's probably because I have like less than 1,000 followers. Can you guys hear me well? Good. Perfect. Awesome. Everybody, oh, Sebas Production. Hey, how you guys doing? Hi from Spain. Perfect. All right. Well, welcome guys. That's my first ever live stream. I'm watching on the side here because I got my big display with your chat right here. Is your to see what you guys are saying. Canada's here. All right. Hi. Oh, hi, Victor C. I'm gonna wait a bit more. There's about like 19 people on the other side, so there's only 12 people right now. So I'm just kind of waiting to see if everybody is making the move, and then we'll be able to start. You kind of amazing time for, yeah. It's like, is it noon over there in Australia for you guys? Oh yeah, right. Like yeah, for sure. Like actually, you know what? I think my first ever 3D print actually went pretty well. It was just a cube, and then it you know, all went downhill from there. Hey, bonjour Montréal. Yeah, right. Like 3mm static fires is pretty hard on you there. There's a bunch of Canadian there. It was always hard to know how many Canadians were following my work. I know there's like a few guys in Thunder Bay where I live. Christian Debney, hey guy, hey, how are you doing? Wow, there's like big guys over there. This makes me more even like stressed. Anyway. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna start a bit. So some of you know my name. I'm Johan, and so I created Starship 3D in November 2020. It was not intended to go that far into the design of starships, but it went there, and it was pretty unexpected. Yeah, it's been crazy busy. It's amazing adventure so far. Met lots of amazing people, talented people, and I'm working on my 5th starship right now. So that you can see here, SN15. That will be available in 2 scales. So the regular 1/50th scale, the big one, and the smaller scale right there, 1/72nd scale, which is absolutely super cute. Like it's definitely becoming my favorite model. It's so nice. Like it's so small, and you can handle it so well. Like you can just take it like that, and you can do whatever you want. Like compared to those big guys there, that always been kind of a pain to handle because of their size. but those small one here, and lots of upgrades on it to also make it like where you can turn it all around the place, and you know there's no risk of it to come apart. Those guys there, they're yeah, I would be more careful with them. But I'm also working to get more like better improvement in how the 1/50th scale is holding together, and that you can actually move around a bit better. But it's still like it's a big ship, so it's kind of hard to move around. So this one is definitely like the new to go, and with the same amount of detail. Like I only made really little change, and I'm actually thinking of just keeping those change for the bigger scale, just because it's easier to print. And it's only inside the nose cone here that I made some change for the small scale, but otherwise it's exactly the same ship. Um, so I'm really excited about that new model here. Hamilton, oh, hey, um, oh, that's cool. Yeah, small ship. Yeah, it is pretty small. So yeah, so in I'm trying to get like a good frame here. So there's like few um, new project I'm working on. So there's the SN15, the Launchpad, Launchpad A that I'm working on. So they will be available in both scale for the small one and the bigger one that you can see right here. Trying to detail them as much as I can. So yes, I'm planning to do super heavy. That's why I decided to go with the smaller scale for SN15. I'm actually planning on only doing the 1/72nd scale from now on. Like the um, SN15 will be the last one to be available in 1/50th scale, just because it's so much work to work in both scales. Like I just trying to reduce the amount of work that I'm spending on that project. The only thing is I'm not sure which one I'm gonna do. I don't know if I'm gonna end up doing B4, the Booster 4, and Ship 20. I kind of want to just focus myself and find my work on the big milestone. Like SN 8, 9, 10, 11 were kind of the first one to, to fly. So, but yeah, but like now thinking of it, maybe um, I should have just done SN8, maybe 10, because it's kind of like the first one to land, even if it's exploded after that, and SN15 because it did everything else, everything great. So I kind of want just to focus on the milestone. So the one I'd like to do is the one that actually go orbital. So right now, if you follow the social media, there's like big question in if B4 and S20 are gonna go orbital or not. So I don't know which one I'm gonna do. Could be B5, S21. I have no clue yet. I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a bit of a break on the Starship design after S15 to give me some time to see what's gonna happen. And I always will like waiting for the ship to fly, because we never know what's gonna happen with the booster, if they're gonna recover it or not, and if I can get more detail, more pictures, to be able to design it as good as I can. SN15, we keep getting pictures, like we not that much anymore, but even after the flight, we got some pictures of like S15, S16, S17 from RGV. Even if it was like old parts that were like in the scrapyard, or it was always parts that helped me to design it better. So I'm never in a rush to design it to make it right when the ship get launched. I'm just gonna read a bit more. Ship 20 could still launch for test. I think it could, who knows, like it's hard to tell what's gonna happen. Plan change so fast that we never know until they actually do it. So After SN15, I'd like to make sure the Launchpad is complete and done, that I can actually make it available for you guys. There's also that man lift right here that I've been working on. That I'd like to make available. All those type of things, you know. It's got like a retractable boom. You can fold it and it spins. It's, you know, everything is like everything moves, and you can actually display it the way you want. So I'd like to work on that. I have like some ideas for a crane, like a big crane. I don't know if that would be the what's the hardest part to make. Yeah, I should try to see your question here and there. So the hardest part to make, there's there's two things. There's the hardest part to design and the hardest part to make, and they're not necessarily the same. For designing, the thrust dome all the way up to SN11, the thrust dome were always the hardest to design because they're like really detailed. And for SN15 now, I would say like the forward dome is the most detailed part of the ship, and the hardest part in them is the wiring. Oh my goodness, the wiring is a pain. I'll show you there. So the forward dome. Try to get some lighting here. The forward dome gets all those tiny wirings that goes to the avionics right there, and they're linked to the battery that goes over there. There's the pneumatic lines that goes to the valve in the center, and you can also find. I'm trying to find the rotor in there. Where is it? Right there. There's also the lines that go through the ship, though they're also in between the stringers here. It's hard to see, but I could definitely show you some pictures on Twitter, share some pictures. But anyway, you see the cable to go that goes through the metal, the ring, goes on the inside between the stringers all the way to the dome and to the avionic and stuff like that. And that takes like a crazy amount of time. Same thing with all those wires there. You know, they're not straight line. I try to not always give straight line just to give them a bit more of a real look, and it's a pain. Like, it's painful, but it's worth it at the end, because like that forward dome it's my favorite part of the ship because there's so much detail on that. And so that has been quite hard to do. The nose cone is definitely also a challenge because the shape of the cone to design whatever is inside is also like quite challenging. Like, I could show you some detail there, but you've seen that probably seen that online. You know, all the inside structures of trying to get some good lighting is kind of hard. Let's see if I do that like that. You know, all those parts here. This one, like that part of the ring frame that hold the Tesla motors for the flaps, those one are a pain. And I have to say, like, the guy that designed them in real life, like you did. Well, I don't know if it was like a good design from the bat, but I guess with the time frame that you have to design the things, it's probably like the best you could have done at first, because it's definitely a pain to do. So the aero covers also are like the tip of the aero covers. But anyways, things get, you know, I start to handle Fusion 360 better every time. Like, I learn new things. Definitely learn new things, new ways to design the tip of the aero covers to get the shape and the weld also. Like, you can see now there's like the weld line in here, and I try to make them as close as the real one. So there's a like it's definitely uh, it's definitely there's definitely some challenges in there, but every iteration of the ship, I feel like I learn more to help me to design them, but it's still not an easy task. LR 11350 15000 Balza. Yeah, I can imagine like Balza might be like a challenge, but I mean it's a good idea to use for a crane. I mean for the boom anyway. Yeah, well, I'm for the full heat shield. I'm super worried about my computer on that. I did some tests on the nose cone, like on the section of the nose cone, and my computer didn't really like that. So I'm working in the section. Like when I started to design the Starship, it was basically like one file with the full ship on it, and I could isolate some section to just work on it and like hide the rest of it, but it was still in there. So it was really hard on my computer to work like that. So SN15, I decided to have a file per section and then have another file with all the section in it to see, if the overall ship was, was making sound, making sense, and that all the sections were actually lining up pretty good. But it was way easier on my computer to work on one single section at a time. So that was definitely an improvement. So I'm probably gonna have to do something like that. Maybe have two files per section. One file with the complete section with all the details and everything, and then another file with like a simplified outer shell, and then work on the heat shield on that. So I'm thinking of something like that, just to avoid to destroy my computer, or I don't know, just like invest in another computer. But yeah, it's not necessarily always feasible. Yeah, well, I'm trying like the most detailed and accurate model on the market. I'm trying to. That's a main goal, and I think it was like it's funny because when I started, like there's like only a few pictures out there, and then people started to get interested in my model, asking if I would share the file and stuff like that, and then I didn't know if I wanted to sell them at the beginning, and then I stayed working, and I've seen another guy, I'm not gonna give his name, but he done like a incredible work, but he came up with the same idea of Starship, and I was like, well, I was not necessarily expecting to be, to have like concurrence in the way I was designing the ship. And so I said, you know what, I kind of like, if I want to demark myself and be interesting for people, and because there's so many Starship available out there, like on Etsy, there's like, dozens and dozens of Starship. See, I need to do something that is different. And that's why I worked really hard to make it with as many detail I could get in it, and keep that idea where you can actually take it apart and actually see what's the inside, and having a full set of instruction with a bit of explanation what is what. So there's that's my main motivation, is trying to, accuracy is there, but it's like I think I'm far away from some 3D artist work that have designed the amazing Starship, because they design it in real scale, in 1:1 scale on full renders, so they can really go to the millimeters in the accuracy. My model are accurate as that you can, as accurate as it makes sense on a 3D printing model, on a 3D printed model. Like I don't work to the millimeters because, like, it's a 1/5 and 1/72 scale, so it give me a bit more of give. And same thing, it's like, how can you make a realistic, an accurate model when the walls of the barrel is like 2 or 2.5 millimeters thick. So there's like some give where you have to play around that. Same thing is like to make it printable, you have to play around the accuracy to make it easy to print. That's also part of the improvement that I've made compared to the first Starship. I try to cheat a bit on the design to not have like as many parts as it used to be on the previous Starship. Because if you were going from the previous Starship and increase the level of detail here without those tricks that I use, you'll probably ended up having a Starship that has like 300 or 350 parts to assemble together, and it's like, well, you know, you can't really do that. So you have to find ways to design it and print it in one single part to make it work. So it's accurate as much as it makes sense on a 3D printed model at that scale. So what's else? Looking forward to printing the yes, the Raptor 42 display is coming soon. So that's another thing I'm working on. I've been working on that with Alberta 3D. So Alberta 3D is one of my friend that helped me to work on Starship. He's part of like the team that I created like I think it was probably March 2021. Jackson Welt or Cosmic Entity is part of that team too. They helped me to do all the hardest things. You know, it's like when Elon Musk said like actually designing the ship is not the hardest part, is the fabrication that is like the assembly line that is like the hardest to do. Well, there are things that are for me are super hard to deal with, like, you know, tweeting the right tweet, the instruction that's I'm not a writer. And it's really hard for me to sit down and write a 100-page instruction to make sure that everything is easy for you to you know, like making sure everything, all the printing is as easy as it can be for you guys. So they helped me a lot for that, and I wouldn't be here if it was not for them. Because the SN8, like the first release, was so stressful, and they helped me so much on that. So a big shout out to Alberta 3D and Cosmic Entity for that. Because that guy right here is there because they helped me for that. Like the design, and the design is almost like the easy part. It's just things that I like. Writing instruction is hard, and same thing like social media. What I'm doing right here is really hard for my for me. It's not you know, but anyway, they're really helpful, and they also did like an amazing job in testing the parts. That's why it takes so long to design a Starship. There's like a huge amount of testing. I just want to make sure that what you guys get, and that's also why they're not cheap. You get something that has been tested that you should not have any problem to print. So we have you know, have like a Prusa. We have two CR10 V3. Cosmic Entity has another one of that CR10 V3. Alberta 3D's got some Anycubic and Viper. So we have different printers, some direct drive, some Bowden extruder, and so with those different printers we can test the files and make sure that the design is right, the profile is right, and you guys can just like follow the instruction and get a successful print. So that's why there's lots of work behind the scene to make it right. So it's not just trying to design the most accurate chip, 3D printed chip. It's also trying to make it easy for you to print, even if it's really long print. I know that, spending like a few days per section to print, but it's it should give you like successful print if you follow the instruction. So to come back to the Raptor display, so some of you have asked me in the past if I could make available a small Raptor engine because they couldn't necessarily afford the full ship, and so we worked a bit. Another shout out to Alexander Zvan, that I'm sure you know that guy. He designed an amazing model of the Raptor engine, and shortly after he released it on social media, I mean, like released the pictures of it on social media, he made the file available to me. So it's not. I use his model as a reference because it's so small that it would have been like a disaster to shrink down and make it printable. So I just use this as a reference to get the actual shape, and we made that really cute Raptor display, the engine 42. I think it's probably reversed. Oh no, it's actually right side. Okay. So we made that really nice Raptor, and it will be available. The files will be available for sale on my website tomorrow. So you'll be able to download the file to print that. You will also, like all the people that have downloaded the files for the previous Starship will receive an email to download for free an upgrade to the Raptor engine that they have on their Raptor, on their Starship, and also the Raptor display. So all my basically customer will get the Raptor display plus the Raptor model to install on their Starship for free. So hopefully that should go tomorrow. Otherwise, over the weekend, I think I'll send the email for you guys. But the STL files will be available tomorrow. And also, I know that Alberta 3D, that is now an official licensed manufacturer of my model, so you'll be able to 3D print all my model and sell them for you guys. He has like a few of those already available on his store. So if you go now, you might be able to get one of these like before it's released. So it's alberta3d.ca if I'm not mistaken, and it's too bad like all the links were on the previous stream, so you could always go on that link and check out the link. But I'll add all the links and everything on that video. But you can go and download that on his website, and he's supposed to stream tonight in a bit. So he makes live stream on the Twitch, and he will help you with if you have issues with the Starship. He printed a lot, so I'll be able to help you with that. But he does lots of live stream on how to handle your 3D printer, how you can fix it, how you can fix some of your print if they fail and stuff like that. So go check him out. I will try to put the link for his Twitch on the description, and he's here in the chat, so you might be able to ask him what the link for his live stream tonight. I think it's like probably in a half an hour or something like that now. I'm just gonna read a bit of your question here. No, I won't model any all the unique heat tiles on S20. I might have to model like some one at a time. I don't know how far I'll go in accuracy in there, but I think some will need to be designed one by one. Well, there's like Project Create. I don't know what you talk about free one. There's lots of free Starship, free Raptor engine there. Actually, Ryan Hansen Space is actually printing a really good model of Starship of a Raptor engine available on Thingiverse right now. It's a really good one, and he's getting like amazing results with his printer. It's probably about that big from what I see on the pictures, and it's free on Thingiverse. So there's good people out there doing great stuff for free. You know, it's whatever you want to do with your free time. I think with the amount of time I spend on the Starship, and the money that is involved in there, like to be able to get all the details that I have, I had to invest in Patreons, and I had to get like a better software, so I had to pay for that too. So there's like lots of expense behind. That's why, and my time, like I spend like a crazy amount of time on that. I do like it too, but it's like every time I'm off, it's basically going on Starship. So I spend a crazy amount of time on Starship. So then, so I'll show you the, I'll show you the pad. But wanted to show you the improvement that I'm really excited about on SN15. I did got some feedback from customers, or even between Alberta 3D and Cosmic Entity, like some ideas like I should do it better on the next one, and even some stuff that I didn't really like, and I decided to, on the SN15, like for SpaceX, where they definitely changed the whole design of the ship to make it better, I did the same thing, and I improve a bunch of things. So first things, like I said, so besides being way smaller, but it's the same thing with the big one. I wanted to have a ship that you can actually hold and not have any risk of a section that comes off just because the magnet are a bit weak. Like I only printed and assembled that section in here. If you hear something, it's the downcomer inside, but it's like I throw that thing in my bed, because I wouldn't throw it on the floor, obviously, but to see if anything would come off, and it's super strong. So I did increase the thickness of the magnets, and increase the number of them. So instead of like 10, so that would be 20 magnets per section seam, and I ended up having 24. So that's 12 set of magnets basically, and I increased their thickness because thicker magnets have more strength to keep the section together. So now the Starship is really strong, and a kid could definitely play with that small one here. So that's something I'm pretty excited about, like to know that kid could actually play with that. Then I got rid of the lead-ins because that was I broke so many of them that I started to get tired of having to deal with those lead-ins. So there's no more of those spikes between the section like you would see on the real Starship just before they made two sections together. It's simplified so many things. First, you're not afraid of like every time you split two sections to break one. And then it simplified also the assembly and the print. So before you had like I'm gonna take the forward dome here to show you. So before, basically, because of the way the dome need to be printed, you needed to print. Actually, it doesn't work with that. Let me grab the thrust dome here, or even the command dome. So before, when you had the lead-ins, the dome has to be printed upside down. That's the way that it works the best. But then you had all the lead-ins on the outside here. And I could actually show you here for people that would wonder what the lead-ins are. That's those tiny guys right here. That's the lead-ins that I'm talking about. So because you can't print, because you had to print the dome upside down, you cannot print the lead-ins on the bed. It doesn't make sense. So you had to print the dome section and then a ring section that you were gluing on top. And that was pretty hard to glue. I know like some people ask me to try to get rid of them or to find a way to not have to glue that ring together. And when I assemble SN10 here, I definitely say, you know what, I need to get rid of that. I'm tired. I can't keep assembling more rings like that. I hate it so much. So I decided to get rid of them, and now that's a full section that you can print in one shot. You don't need to assemble any extra rings on that. So that's one improvement that made a huge difference. The other thing that I got tired of assembling on SN10 is the baffles. So every domes here have a set of baffles inside to avoid the fuel inside to slosh around during flight. So I still wanted to have that on SN15. But I wanted to improve the way to assemble them because they're like really painful to assemble. So now inside of each dome you can you see there's slots in there, and the slots are meant to position the try to fix that lamp there. Oh, there you go. Oh, hey, that's better. So basically the baffle here, the brackets, those tiny brackets here, sticks out a bit, and that's just enough to be able to locate the baffle into those slots right here, and it makes the location of the baffle way easier than before. And then the other advantage of using those slots is how you're gonna glue them. Before you had no way to know exactly where to put the glue on the dome to glue the baffle. You had to put the glue on the brackets of the baffle, which when you were bringing the baffle in, like you had to be really precise to drop the baffle exactly where you want it to be. Otherwise, you're just making CA glue streaks on your baffle, and it was messy. So now, something else I'm introducing in the instruction is the micro applicator tip. Where did I put them? Oh, I did it. Oh, right there. So on the new Starship, I recommend to use those guys right there that you put on the end of your CA glue, and then you can apply the CA glue in really tiny places. So you can actually just drop a tiny bit of glue. Yeah, they are godsend. Yeah, you can just apply a tiny bit of glue into the slots, and then just drop your baffle, and there's no mess. And then if you ended up using a CA glue with an activator, you can just spray a bit of that activator on the CA glue, and it's gonna dry in no time. So that's the big some of the big changes that came with SN15 that I'm really excited about. So the print is easier, the installation of the baffle is easier. What else did I do? I also improved the way the flaps were getting removed. The flap here with the aero cover, I actually grabbed the wrong one. The flap with the aero cover, before you had to, like here, to remove the tip, and then with a small plier that I designed and you could print, grab the shaft of the flap and remove it, and then you could remove the flap of the aero covers. And it was fine. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but I never really found that solution really elegant. I really hated the fact that you had to grab a tool to be able to disassemble a ship. So I found that technique where actually the tip of the flap here, you spin it, it's held by a magnet, and you pull the tip, and the shaft is actually glued to the tip of the flap, so you can see the magnets right here. And then you can take the flap out and then reassemble the whole thing, and boom, that's disassembled. No need of tool, nothing. It's really easy to do. It works really, really well, and I really like that solution. And then you can just put the tip back on. So that's another improvement I made. And for the four flaps, it's the same thing, except like you do that on the bottom. So here you see the magnets right there, and you pull the shaft and then remove the flaps, and the same thing. I love that so much. It's insane. There we go. So I have so many parts now, I don't even know what's what. Here, so that's, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to show you guys for SN15. Any questions? Like there's like a huge amount of detail on that too. You've seen pictures. I could show you whatever you want on SN15. Otherwise, I can start to show you a bit of the Launchpad that I'm designing. All right, so well, the Launchpad. Launchpad is pretty neat too. I kind of like it. It's still a bunch of parts right now. Booster is coming. Is orbital launchable and launch tower in the work for the future. Yeah, the only thing like for the shaft, the use of magnets. Another guy is I'll just say like more than 3D has a Starship, and his flaps are held by magnets. And I just don't want to use the same technique as him. I just want to do my own solution, and I found that solution quite nice. So I just rather to use my own solution on that. So I didn't really like the solution that was used before. This one I like it more. Who knows? Maybe I'll change my mind at some point and use magnets. But there's things that I'm not sure to like with magnets. I don't know how strong like I want, if you want to put the ship horizontally, I don't want the flaps to just fall down, and I'm not sure how that could be done. Like I don't know how the magnet would work on that, if they would be strong enough to keep the flaps in position. With the shaft, there's ways to do it. I'm not sure that with the magnet it will work. It could, I don't know, I haven't tried, and I didn't want it to just like pick someone else's solution and just apply it to my ship. Kind of just wanted to work on my own on that. Boosters coming, is orbital launch table and towers in the works for the future. I actually never put it in my list. It's a big job. It's a big job. And there's already like I think it's Starbase Outfitters, and I'm not missing his name. Dean is working on that, and really like it's a big job. Like even like at the 1/77 scale, it will be like so big. I'm not sure about that. I think I'll be already super busy with the ship, the booster, all the small thing that I want on the side, and I'm not sure if I want to do the tower yet. I don't, for that I don't know. It's not in my list yet. It's just too big. The Launchpad is not available yet. It will be. I'm still working on it. right now like 95% of the design is done. It's just like testing the print, make sure that the all the clearance and play and stuff like that in the fitting of different parts are right. Also trying to get like good colors. I'm currently working in try to not nothing is glued on this one, so but it's so I'm actually working on the colors right now and trying to get some setting rights. So I found that the a nice cool gray from Hatchbox that gives like a nice concrete a look. I think that is Econophil matte gray here. It's a Canadian company. I don't know if you'll be able to find it everywhere, like I mean worldwide, but the matte gray works really well for the structures. White for insulation and silver for the piping. So I'm kind of working on that, tweaking the printing printing profile to make sure that it prints really well, like the base. The base of the pad was quite challenging because we were getting warping and stuff like that. So that has been tweaked and it worked pretty good now. So just making sure everything works pretty good, and then working on the instruction and it will be released after that. But it's just a question of what I want to be done first. So the Raptor is will be available tomorrow, so that should be done out of my way. Now we'll be working on the SN15, the pad after that. I'd like maybe also to work on that man lift because it's small, easy. So probably just do a few more tweaks, some testing, and then the instruction and release that. So I'd like to work on that. So the patch should come early next year after SN15 has been released. N52 are really strong. Like we actually working on that too. That was one of my worries when I released SN8 is for people to be able to find all the right size hardware all around the world. And between the standard and metric, and it was really really hard. So with Alberta 3D, we're working on getting kits of magnets, shafts, screws, like all the hardware that is needed to assemble a Starship. So you can just get it from us, and you know that you got the right size, the right fitment, stuff like that. So we found a really nice guy that sells like N52 neodymium magnets. He's got like a website, and he sells already those type of magnets for I think he's making like replica of like game figures and stuff like that, where they need to use magnets. So he's got like all the magnets that we need for Starship. So I got in contact with him, and he was really interested in helping us. So we'll try to get those kits together. I feel like Alberta 3D will probably be like a good source to get them. I don't know if I'll have like much time to get those things going, but I'll try on my hand to get some ready. Same thing for the Raptor display. For everybody that actually 3D print the Raptor, the thing that you're gonna miss is the label, and also the vinyl stickers 42 that goes on the nozzle. I provided instruction to make them. I also provided the Word file to with the labeling inside that you can actually print on the label printer. I give the reference for the labels to print it on, but I have like I have plenty of the stickers here that I could easily cut and ship in a mail. And I'm even thinking of like putting the magnets, because it's kind of sucks to buy 25 magnets or 100 magnets to just like put 4 magnets on the Raptor. Yeah, because I didn't mention, but the Raptor is held by a magnet here. I thought it would be nice, like if you want to actually display it beside your ship or underneath the Starship, like if it was just delivered, you could, and print a bunch. But anyway, so there's like 4 magnets, there's a label, and there's like the lettering. So I'm thinking of making also kits that will be available like for a few bucks, whatever material it costs me to do those things, and that you can actually get it completely done. Because those things, like, they're not super expensive, but it's here it's $12 Canadian, and you get like you get how many? You get 1,500 labels. I don't think you need to spend like that $12 to get 1,500 labels when I have like plenty here, and I could print it and send it to you guys. So it's it's something that I'm thinking of doing. Try to get more hardware for you guys to be able to not to not worry about finding the right stuff for your ship. So or other model that I'm making. Uh, yeah, the Launchpad is fun, definitely. Like it's small. It's I just don't know how long they're gonna use that for. How long, are they still gonna? I guess they're probably still gonna need to static fire every Starship. SN15 release window, I'm thinking probably hoping February, because then March I'm gonna get really busy at work, and so if I don't get it released before, I don't know, it's gonna push the release date way further than that. So I'm hoping January or February that all the testing will be done, and like right now, the state where I'm at, it's like the ship is basically mainly designed. I still have to work on the Raptors, like the new version of the Raptor. So this one here is actually the V1 of the Raptor engine. Like like the version 1 of SpaceX Raptor engine, not my V1. It's actually like the V3 now. But the SpaceX version is the V1 on SN15 and above, even S20, they use the 1.5 version of Raptor. So I need to change my design to adapt it to the Raptor 1.5 for the S15. So I still have to do that. I have to design the heat shield panel that's gonna go on 15, and then basically is reprinting, test printing. So it's mainly test printed already here. I have added some details since then. This one here is the first and final leg section that I'm gonna print as part of my testing period, basically. And once the section is printed and tested, I send that to Alberta 3D and Cosmic Entity for them to test print that and do the fine-tuning if there's any fine-tuning that needs to be done. So that's what needs to be done on SN15 before the release, and obviously the instruction. Something I have to go into a meeting, but I will rewatch the stream this weekend. Also, the digital Raptor on your store sold out. Yes, it's sold out because the release is tomorrow. So Friday, I had that habit of releasing my model on Fridays. So I put it out there because like that is online, and basically is everything ready tomorrow. I can just tweet it, put it on Instagram, and make it available for download. So that's what it is. But yeah, it'll come pretty soon. So that's what it is. What else? I think that covers pretty much everything that needs to be said. Oh, I wanted to show you a few things there that are pretty neat. So on the Launchpad, That's a trick from Alberta 3D actually. He mentioned before that I could actually print without bottom and top layers, and that would make the infill visible. And that was for other test print or other part design and stuff like that, and I never had any occasion to try it. And always Chris Prince. And Gerard Armand, have a good meeting, and we'll see you soon, either on Twitter or on a different stream. But one of the last things I want to talk about is, so for the Launchpad, there's I think it's like a catwalk, that's how they call that, but it's a lower platform that goes just below the main platform. And those one are actually removed when the ship, like for static fires or like for launches, they remove those platforms. They're right below the main one, but they are they have like those grill plate, you know, like you could find in a walkway. And so I wanted to get that look. So what I did is actually design the part. So obviously all the explanation to actually print it will be in the extrusion, but using only walls and infills, no top and bottom, I've been able to get that grill look that actually look like a real walkway. So I'm pretty excited about that too. And it's held by magnets, so you can just like put it on, you know, display your Starship like they were actually working on it. And you could, you know, you could have like a couple of Raptor engines sitting right below it. And yeah, if or otherwise you can just remove them, store them somewhere else, and you ended up having like the pad A that looks like if the ship was being launched or static fired. Just goes right there. Yeah, and I think that's about it. Unless you guys have question, I'm here. I can answer anything you want. Can even give you some tricks on how to assemble the ship or whatever. Otherwise, I might just end the stream now, and go back to work on Starship. Yeah, well, I'm gonna wrap it up then. If you guys don't have any question, thanks for joining tonight. Go see Alberta. Oh, another question. What printer do you use? So I actually have like 3 printers. So I started with the CR10 V3. So I have one here. That's actually the first one I bought. It's actually printing the nose barrel. Here is the second CR10 V3 that I've been using. So this one is set up to print the 1/72 scale, because you need to print it with a 0.3 millimeter nozzle, and the top one here is set up with the 0.4 millimeters nozzle to print the smaller Starship. And then the latest addition is the Prusa MK3S. And this one is set up also to print the smaller Starship. That's the 3 printers that I've been using since the beginning of the Starship 3D adventure. So yes, thing I forgot to mention, I did mention it on Twitter, is the to 3D print the smaller Starship. I had to and keep the same level of detail. I had to reduce the size of the nozzle. So I have to go to a 0.3 nozzle. So when you're gonna if you get the files and you want to print that small Starship, you'll need to get a 0.3 millimeters nozzle for that. And that's how I've been able to keep the same amount of detail. I will also give the a profile for the Prusa, because the Prusa, if anybody have a Prusa, you know that you can buy the Prusamo and they have like files and stuff like that. And I was struggling to print the Starship. The one, not the 150th, but the 172nd Starship was like a pretty hard to get a good quality using the Prusa slicer and Prusamon as a filament. So I ended up making my own profile on Cura for the 0.25 millimeter nozzle. It's not a 0.3 on Prusa, it's a 0.25 millimeters. So I had to make my own profile and actually use a hatchbox and not Prusamo to print it. So I'll give that I'll give that in the instruction also, just for people that have a Prusa to be able to print the Starship in the great quality. Like the quality on like SN10 has been printed with Prusamo on the Prusa using a mix of Prusa slicer and Cura, but the quality is amazing. But with the 0.25 millimeters, it doesn't work as well, and so it needs to do a bit of off-road, which is too bad because I got the Prusa just because I wanted a plug-and-play printer, and even if it's an amazing printer, you need to, again, it's 3D printing, so you need to use tricks and tweaks to make it work. Hey, you're welcome, Chris Pinsis. Thanks, Christian Debney. I really like your work also. Do you guess the measurement? Do it by eye or is it data? No, I use pictures, and I'm not as I'm trying to get as good measurement as I can, but I'm not as crazy as the guys on the the most of the 3D artists over there. They have like better software that I'm using. So I'm just basically using Photoshop, find pictures that I want, and I know some some of the measurement. You know how wide is a ship. I know how tall is a ring because it's the height of one of those big stainless steel roll. So those dimensions are out there now. You can easily find them. And then so from there I just on the picture, if I can have a picture with a ring just beside it, I take ratios of things. So that's how I work. I take the ratio of the height of the ring, I know that dimension, and then I found the ratio between the actual height on the pictures, like the height on the picture and the actual height, and then I measure the part that I want to actually measure, and then I give it a ratio to get it to the scale of my model. And that's how I've been working. I know the guys on the Artist of Spaceflight Discord. I know they're using software where they actually put the pictures in the software and kind of draw the parts on top of the pictures, but it's actually in 3D. And then from there they can actually and they use the focal too of the lens to actually get the proper dimension. But again, it's 3D printing. So between the accuracy of the printer, the size, I'm working 1/50th scale and 1/72 scale, really 1 millimeters in difference it's not gonna make a huge difference, and that's gonna be visible. So luckily I don't necessarily need to be so accurate that it's gonna matter. So it is accurate, but not as much as what those guys are doing. They're basically millimeters by millimeters, measuring every rivets and stuff like that. So it's nuts. But yeah, I'm using for my references, I'm using Mary as at Boca Chica Gal. I'm using RGV IRL photography. I'm using Starship Gazer. And then some of like Nick that takes some pictures also. I try to gather as many pictures that I can. I think I was looking like I have probably like 500 pictures for S20. S15 is probably 300 pictures, something like that. Every time I see a picture showing up, I just save it on my computer, and then I know I have like a big library of, even if it's 3 times the same shot, but like with a slight difference in lighting or angle. Well, you can get some information that is useful to design it or to understand how it works. Sometimes it does help to figure out how the thing works to be able to design it better, or to figure the rest of the the system that you try to design, or figuring the routing of like the where that pipe's gonna go. Sometimes I'm just looking at the welds that you see on the outside. You see the welds that they did on the inside. That's how I designed the nose cone right there. Like there was a leaked video not long ago that were showing the inside of the nose cone, which make me happy because everything that I designed here were just looking at the weld pattern that you could see on the outside, and some picture of wreckage of like I think it was SN9 or SN8 and SN11. It's like one picture of SN11 where you actually see part of that ring frame right here, and SN11 SN9 you could actually see the piping for the RCS and some of the header tank. There's like SN17 when they cut that big opening for the cargo door. I had seen some of that design right here. So, but otherwise was just looking at the welds on the outside and just figuring out what it was. So it's lots of work, lots of research work to figure out what's what and where it goes. I use the software I use is Fusion 360, because it's the only affordable CAD software that I like working with. I've been at school and well, yeah, obviously I've been at school, but it's I've been to university and I did a degree on mechanical design. So I'm not an engineer, but I would have become like a technician, something like that. And so during those 2 years, I learned to work on CATIA, and then I've been able to get a copy of SolidWorks. But I wanted to have something that I'm actually licensed for. So and I've seen lots of free software and stuff like that, and it don't work at all. Like even Google Sketch, I really don't like working with Google Sketch because it doesn't have it's not the same way to design than CATIA or SolidWorks. And Fusion 360, even if it had like some small difference, has the same logic of sketch and extrusion and spline and stuff like that than SolidWorks and CATIA have. So and the license is like, it's not cheap, but it's something that I could afford right from the bat when I started, and I was not getting any revenue from what I was doing. So I decided to go with that. It's not perfect, but it works. So that's what I'm using, and I'm using Cura for slicing my model. So far, I haven't found any other slicer that does what Cura does. I tried Prusa slicer, and as good as like they have like some really good stuff, but it's not as reliable than Cura. They've been doing a really good job with it. Yeah, that's all I think for tonight. For first live stream. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go. I think it's been how long it's been so far? Yeah, it's been like more than an hour already. So I'm probably gonna hand it here, guys. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for following me. I'm always trying to do my best to bring you the best. Thanks for all your feedback that helped me to make SN15 better, and I'm really looking forward to your feedback on it to hopefully make SN20 or ship 20 or whatever ship I'm gonna end up designing after that better. Anyway, thanks a lot, and I hope you have a good night, and we'll see you soon. Maybe I'll try to do that more fun. All right, bye guys.